What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another amazing and impactful episode of the TH4 Podcast, where we so live our best life. Oh, it's different sides to the lens
Throw
of
me all the
holistic
way
health.
off.
I'm your host, Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, and as usual, I have with me my bride, my girl, my queen, my partner in crime, life, stressing and blessing. How you doing? Or introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? My name is Sinclair, aka
The
Health
Health
Nerd,
Nerd.
and here joining you from San Francisco, California.
Yeah. Shout out to the Bay. Shout out to the Bay. Shout out to the Bay. First off, disclaimer: grown folk stressing out of town. Apparently, our house may have some water stuff. So if you see me, hopping in and out, right? Or if you're listening on the podcast and you're like, oh, where's Devon's melancholic voice? It's just, I may have stepped away to handle some grown stuff real quick. All right. But the queen's gonna hold it down if I need to step out. She got it. Today we are finally getting back to the art of manifestation. I feel like we brought this up 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, like for the Tulsa one.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah, a solid 2 or 3 weeks ago, we brought this up on our kind of a reflection of how our Tulsa trip went, which was amazing, which was literally a manifestation of dreams, of efforts. But we overtalked a little bit and we didn't get to actually get to the art of manifestation. We just reflected a lot. So today we want to kind of take another step back, reflect on how we've both been able to manifest some things, and also just kind of map out our version of what it looks like. Not the only version, not the perfect version, but our version of what it's like. And hopefully y'all can get some nuggets out of it. Queen, sound good?
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into the episode.
All right, here we are. We're back. Well, I'm back. The king has stepped out. But we want to talk about the art of manifestation. So I'm going to pull up my outline so I don't misspeak. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so first of all, as I mentioned, my name is Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd. And so what we want to talk about is setting your intentions so that we can stay committed to whatever you want to accomplish, right? So whatever your goal is, it's important to not only do the steps that it takes, but to manifest what you want to happen. Because if you don't do that, then you're kind of just going to be going along with life and going along with the flow, which there's going to be a lot of curveballs that come in your journey to accomplishing whatever goal you're trying to accomplish. So manifesting is important because it helps keep you focused. It helps keep you committed because, again, there's going to be curveballs. That is a guarantee. So if you manifest, you can really visualize what you want, what accomplishing that goal looks like, what you want your life to look like, what you want your family to look like, all of that stuff. It makes it much more likely that it will actually happen. Okay, so we do have a graphic on the art of manifestation. If we could pull that up, and basically throughout the episode, we're just going to go through each of these steps that we kind of outlined on how to manifest what you want. So the first thing is set your intentions. So that is, and we got the little like target sign, and that just means like, where are you trying to go? What are you trying to accomplish? And I think it's important when you set those intentions to be as much as possible like specific. What exactly do you want to happen? So right, to say I want to own a home. It's a great goal and a great thing to want to manifest. But that's saying I want to own a home is still a very broad goal, right? Where do you want to own this home? What type of home do you want to own? Is it you want to own it to live in it yourself? Are we talking about an investment property? These are all things that you want to outline when you're looking at saying that I want to own a home. So, if you've heard of SMART goals, the acronym is, hopefully I don't butcher this, specific, measurable, uh, what's the A? Attainable?
Attainable,
Attainable.
realistic.
Thank you. And time bound.
Yes.
Yes. So those are all things to keep in mind when you are setting your intention. You want to be as specific as possible.
Yes.
If you have anything, I know you didn't hear a lot of them.
I mean, the only thing that I will add is how important it is to start with the end in mind. Right. So I believe for us, when we both graduated from college, we knew we didn't want to work a 9 to 5 forever. Right. I think some people, like, they enter the workforce thinking, cool, I'm going to put in my 20 years, my 30 years. This is my retirement plan. No shade to anyone who does that. Like, that's like a really good route to go. But for us, we knew, okay, in 10 years, we want to be full-time entrepreneurs. In 10 years, we want to own a home. In 10 years, we want to be able to travel. In 10 years, we want to be able to do what we're passionate in to make money. And we knew that as soon as we graduated from college. So all of the kind of the small little steps, the starting TH4, the starting the YouTube channel, getting 1-2 views back in the day, the travel retreats, like everything that we've been doing is leading up to what we want our 10-year vision to look like. And at this point, we're about halfway in, right? Because we graduated 2016, it's 2021. So we're 5 years into that 10-year vision. And I mean, looking at it, I think we're pretty good at being almost halfway to
pretty much
what we want to be, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's the only thing that I'll sprinkle on that. I heard a little bit of what you were saying. That's the only thing I'll add.
Do we have the a video?
We do have some videos and graphics in here. We'll see if Jair can work some magic and pull those up. But it was a video on the first podcast, no, the second episode of the Truvel podcast that we ever did. Sheesh. Right. So again, like, just setting the attention. This was in 2019, and Jair, if you can cue that video up. I think it's a nice throwback to where we've come from, for sure. Like, this was not live. This was, I think, Santa Barbara.
You remember that? I do remember that.
Yeah,
that was fun.
So yeah, I think it's cool that we can still look back, for podcast episodes and videos 2 years ago and see, how we've progressed, how we've changed a little bit. That was literally an outside venue. Like, it was like real random. Like, let's just go do a podcast outside. Right. But yeah.
But I think the other, like, I think setting your intentions, it sounds very abstract. So I think we also have like some questions you can ask yourself when you're trying to set your intentions. These are questions that you can answer that will help clarify that vision a little bit. So I know we have a graphic for this as well, the CS in 10 years graphic. If we could throw that up, and we'll talk a little bit about what are some questions you can ask as you are trying to set your intentions. So CS in 10 years, that's kind of like our motto.
Yep.
As he just said, we made our 10-year plan. And so that's been kind of our motto throughout all of this, to say, like, keep going, see us in 10 years, and how in all those, all the steps we're going to make and where we're going to be. So the first thing is, who do you want to be and who do you want to help? So I think the first part is, like, literally, who do you want to be in 10 years? You're going to be, if you accomplish everything you want, you're ideally going to be a different person, right? You're going to be, you're going to have a lot of growth. You're going to have new habits. You're going to have, hopefully, any areas of improvement you have now, you've overcome those. So what does that new you look like? And then who do you want to help? Hopefully in your mission or whatever you want to do, you are helping somebody throughout your journey. So I think it's important to outline who exactly is your target audience. Who do you want to impact most in this world?
Yep. And then next, what do you want to be doing with your time? Very, very crucial, at least for us, when we're living our best life. Some of that involves, like, having control over your time. And for me, like, going to Tulsa was a dope, I guess, sneak peek into what I could be doing with my time, because if every day it was exhausting. I'm not going to front like that was a walk in the park. Like, I was exhausted at the end of the day. But, like, if every day I'm able to sell board games, talk about financial literacy, be with the queen, my dad, my friend, and we're all traveling representing the brand, like, that's a fun use of my time. And although it was again, very exhausting. Like I still felt very fulfilled at the end of that. So think about what is it that you want to do with complete ownership and control over your time.
Yes. The next one is, where do you want to live and where do you want to travel?
Yes.
So that's a good one, I think, when you're just looking at your overall life, right? Is in 10 years, where do you actually want to be stationed? Essentially. If it is in the same place, great. But if you don't limit yourself necessarily, right? If you want to go internationally and you want to be in Italy, great, make it happen.
Live that
right?
life.
But you have to set the intention first.
Right.
So yeah, I think, and then also if you're into traveling, where do you want to be able to travel to? I know we've got a very long list of places.
Indeed, you do.
I mean, you do. We do.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's also important to map out.
Yes, and last but not least, I see you snuck in a little dog in here. You think you slick? Oh, listen, y'all. She be making these graphics and she thinks she's slick. She put a dog in there. But why is this? Why is this important to you? All right. So when you think of this 10-year manifestation, when you think of who you want to help, when you think of what you want to be doing with your time, what is that motivation? And the motivation, y'all, is crucially important because you will be tested.
Yes.
You will be tried, right? You will see many valleys in your journey to that mountain. And y'all have heard us like talk about the valleys all the time, right? But having that why, that motivation, whether the motivation is apparently a beautiful dog, whether the motivation is a beautiful family of 5 melanated chocolate geniuses, whether the motivation is being able to your kids just grow up with endless possibilities, right? I think if our kids grow up seeing what we've done and what we actively do, I just feel like they'll be able to dream and really do almost anything. And I feel like that's a huge motivation for us, I think.
Yep.
So yeah, start with the end in mind, but also start with that why, start with that drive that's motivating you to.
Yep. And I think just to add on is it really does have to be a powerful why, because you have to, that the strength of your why has to outweigh any of the stress or the trauma, the whatever that your obstacles are going to bring. Your why has to be that strong.
Right.
Otherwise, you'll run into an obstacle and you'll give up on that dream. So it has to be a strong why, right? If it's your kids, you're not going to give up on your kids, hopefully. So have a really strong why that's not going to dissipate, that's not going to disappear, that's not going to weaken, as you go along your journey.
Love it. So if you're watching this on the live or on the replay, go ahead and put some of these answers or write it down in your notebook. Maybe you don't have to be so public with it, but write down these answers, write down these questions, and maybe once a year, twice a year, you come back to these questions and see how things are moving and see how things are progressing. Okay. Good, Queen?
Yep.
All right. Up next on the art of manifestation is what, my Queen?
Build your habits.
This is a crucial one right here. So for me, when I think of building your habits, and we kind of did this in the under construction retreat that we had, right? We set out like, what are the habits that you need to do every single day to be successful? What are the things you need to do it once a week to be successful,
right,
once a month, once a year, and really map out like to reach your goal in 10 years, what does a successful week look like? To reach your goal in 10 years, what does a successful month look like? So Queen, for you.
Yes.
Habits. What are some habits that you've adopted or that you plan to adopt that will help you become the #1 health coach in the world, beat out Sean Stevenson and all the other people out there? Yeah. We coming for you. Well, I mean, she's coming for you, and I'm just gonna be, training and helping her out, do her thing. We coming for you.
Hey. Let's see. Habits, some that I have right now that I think will not only help me now, but continue to help me will be relevant stress management. Yeah. Stress management is crucial because, again, those obstacles, they're going to come. That is a guarantee, 100%. And I think stress management is a way to, you're not going to be able to, I feel like sometimes we always say like stress, either reduction or like try to get rid of your stress. for some of that you can. There's a lot of unnecessary stress that we all go through that we can probably reduce. But there's a lot of stress that it's just going to come. You're not going to be able to get rid of it. So it's important to just be able to manage your mental health, your body in those times.
Like when your neighbor randomly texts you saying, "Hey, there's an extremely loud noise coming from your apartment. Is there water running?" Stress. Like that.
I literally, we were sitting at breakfast and I had to stop and just do a couple breathing exercises because I was like, I feel it, right? I know for me, when when you like drop your phone and you get instantly like tense up, you get that instant like that little mini like almost like heart attack like feeling where like you kind of tense up. I felt that, as soon as he was like, did you leave water on? I'm like, oh, like did I don't remember it, but you get that instant like tense feeling, and I felt that. And so as soon as I feel that, I have now trained myself that as soon as I feel that, I try to combat it as much as possible. So breathing, doing my abdominal breaths, so breathing, through the gut as much as possible, slow breaths. That is definitely helpful. So that's something that I want to continue doing. Definitely, getting daily movement in, I think is important for a lot of reasons. One, yes, it does, release dopamine. You get that. I literally feel better afterwards. But also, obviously, as a health coach, I like to try to different things so that I can share those practices with other people. So I've been dabbling into the world of functional mobility, and it's fun. And I, have extra motivation to now keep going with it and keep learning, because I think it's something that we all should, literally everybody should do at some point. Is working out with the idea or with the goal that you are trying to prolong your mobility. You're trying to improve your functional mobility, meaning, allowing your body or making sure your body can do the things that it needs to for as long as possible. If that makes sense. I want to be able to play with my great grandbabies. You know what I'm saying? Other habits. A habit that I would like to get better at, I'm not consistent with it, but I know can definitely help, is affirmations. I know you had that point of time when you're doing like 100, and I was like,
highly recommend it. It's a challenge, but I felt great after that. You write 100 positive things about yourself. How can you not feel great?
Yeah, that's discipline to definitely do that every day. But every now and then I will, when I remember in the morning, I like to like look at myself in the mirror and I say like 3 affirmations. Something about you're smart, you're brilliant, and I always add in there, you are patient. Because I know that that's something that I struggle with. Is patience.
You trick yourself into
exactly. So yeah, I think those would be probably 3 habits that I know help me now, but will help me moving on into the future.
Nice. For me, and question for you, whoever is watching or listening, think about, again, that 10-year goal. I want to be financially free. I want to have a home. I want to be the best movie producer in the world. Take that big, huge goal and chop that down into a habit, right? So for me, I want to be known as a Black Studies educator, and then I also want to be, I'm trying to think which manifestation I'm going to put out into the world here, but I feel like I'm also wanting to be someone who is financially free. I'll say that, right? At a minimum, someone who's financially free and helps others to become financially free. So some of the habits that I've built into is constantly consuming Black studies. The Queen will let you know it is probably,
No, kid, go ahead.
It is probably a problem how many books get delivered to our house. Right. And I got a book in my backpack. Like whenever we travel, I'm bringing at least 2 or 3 books, because on a daily or at minimum a weekly basis, I want to be consuming that content. Right. Even stuff that I already know. Like if I know about Black Wall Street, I think there's still more I can learn. And that's why we went to Tulsa, to continue to learn. That's why I bought Hannibal B. Johnson's books, to continue to learn from it, even though I'm already a quote unquote authority in the knowledge. I feel like there's always more I can learn to become an expert and just know more stuff. So that's one. Continue to learn your lane. The affirmations, like the Queen says, love my daily affirmations, right? I'm a king. I'm a brilliant husband. I'm a genius. I am strong. Thank you, baby. I am beautiful. Like all those things, I just say those affirmations on a constant basis, write them down. My daily yoga sessions, even while traveling, I'll be, in Nana's living room, probably looking a little bit crazy, doing my yoga, doing my push-up, because I know when I work out, I feel better. Right. And ideally, this morning, I did it after we already started working. Ideally, I try to get my workout in before I work, right? Before I'm flooding my brain with stress, I try to get my dopamine, get my workout in beforehand. What else do I do? Oh, my cup of water in the morning is also on that. Even here, I got my water. I squeezed my lime. I found some chili powder in Nana's thing, put my chili powder in there, and I'm still drinking what I would probably drink when I'm at home. Okay. So long story short, build your habits.
Yep.
Right. Every castle, every amazing piece of real estate has its foundation. It has its bricks or stucco or wood, all that stuff that it's made out of. For this metaphor, let's think of an old school castle that's made of bricks. What are your bricks? What are the things that you are laying down every day, every week, every month, to where after years you're going to step back and be like, dang, look at this castle I just built out of just daily habits, weekly habits. Okay.
I like that metaphor because it's like when you think about I'm going to build a house, that sounds like a very bodacious goal of like bodacious. Like I would know where to start. But when you think about like brick by brick, you literally how do you build again for this metaphor, a brick house is by brick. That is the only way. So if you think about it that way, like, oh, I'm going to build a house. How? By laying 10 bricks a day. Obviously that would take you a very long time. But if you just think about breaking it up into just bite-sized pieces, it seems way more doable. If I told you all you had to do is lay 10 bricks a day, you'd be like, oh, easy. Yep. Right. But if I told you had to build a house, you're gonna be like, whoa.
Yep. That's while we pull up what's next, that's another line in one of my songs.
Yeah.
Brick by brick, we'll show you how to build a castle.
Yeah.
I'm probably up in here. Layers.
All right. Can we pull up the graphic so we can see what is next? I believe it is commit, but I don't want to misspeak.
Yeah, it's either commit or
the art of manifestation graphic. Thank you, Jair.
Boom.
Commit to the process. So, a little signature there. And I don't put the signature because it signifies committing, right? That's usually what you do. I try to think about like, what's something symbolically you usually do after you commit?
Yeah, when you sign your life over.
A signature is a very strong, I am committing to this.
Listen, when y'all buy your first house or second house and you get that stack of papers, look, you go feel that commitment. You go feel that stress.
Each one is like,
That was one of the most stressful times of my life, right? Yeah. And I knew it was a positive thing too. It was just so much paperwork.
Right.
Oh,
each signature, you're like, what am I?
Right. Let me read
committing
all this.
to right
What does
now?
that word mean? Bodacious. What? But commit to the process. Queen, do you want to jump in first? You want me to jump in first?
You got it.
So this is basically saying, right, no matter what is going up and down, commit to going through this process and understanding that it will be a process. And I think the direct metaphor that we made is, y'all know whenever we, what? What?
No, I'm waiting to hear. I'm looking at the outline and I'm waiting to hear what you're going to say.
So usually we kind of do the metaphor of like planting something, right? It's like when you're planting your seeds, you're harvesting all of that stuff. It's a metaphor of plants. Growing a plant must go through a certain process. Every plant or most plants need to go through photosynthesis, right? That's the process. There is no growing of a plant by avoiding that process. You can trick it a little bit, right? So if you want to grow your plants indoors, instead of sunlight, you use UVs. Instead of regular water, you can use mineral water. You can, instead of natural soil, you put your own soil in. It's like you can kind of replace things in the process. But yet at the end of the day, photosynthesis is the process that will grow this plant, and you need to make sure you are hitting all those points inside of the system or inside of the process for that plant to grow. What you need to do is, what is your photosynthesis, right? So the sun, what gives you energy? So for me, getting energy is interacting with people, So I know in my process, if I'm not interacting with people at all, I'm not going to make it all 10 years, right? Because that's what gives me energy. The next thing is what is your water, right? For me, water is kind of maybe some of the life talks we'd be having. I feel like that's like good water, that's that good blood circulation. But find out, what is your water? Soil, right? What is going to be the foundation? What is your plant grow out of? And for me, maybe it's Black studies, the Black community, financial literacy. That's kind of like my base soil that my plant is growing out of, right? So kind of an interesting metaphor, but long story short, what is your process? What is your photosynthetic process? What is your carbon life cycle process? Whatever it is, figure out what are those points in the process and commit to that process, and understand that there is no growing of this fruit without you hitting some of these points within the process. Queen, I see the look. Do you have a remix you want to throw in that?
Not a remix, but just I think when we say the word commit, it sounds nice and it's easy to verbally say, yes, I commit. It is another thing to like practice what you preach. So what does that commitment look like? It looks like, again, when those obstacles come, you just do whatever you have to do to get around it, to go under it, to go jump over it, to drive around it, whatever you need to do, you get past that obstacle though. And you keep the goal in mind.